Babs says, I recently got terminated due to heated arguments between me and the founder of the company. Will it impact me in applying for another job? Babs, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not something you want to do. Will it impact you for another job? I suppose it may, but probably not. It depends on what you disclose. Now, here's the deal. A common situation is this. Somebody gets fired from a job, okay, or they leave a job, and they don't want the interviewer for a new job to talk to their most recent boss, right? You see, if you left on bad terms and your old boss hates your guts or thinks very poorly of you for whatever deluded reason, right? The last thing you want to have happen is the interviewer you're talking to for a new job, have them contact your old boss, because your boss won't say nice things about you, right? That's a very common situation. Think of all the people who get hired for a new job while they are currently working in an old job. Like they're wanting to leave, but they're not going to leave until they get a new job in place first, so they have something to leave and go to, right? Right? Now, that's a very common situation. So what they do in that situation is they tell the interviewer, they say, you do not have my permission to contact my current boss or my old boss. You know, I still work for them. They don't know that I am entertaining possibly working somewhere else. So I don't want you tipping them off, right? It's a very understandable thing. This is a very well-known principle. So recruiters understand that your most recent employer, they can't contact, right? So therefore they can't verify anything about. Another common scenario is that you left on bad terms with your previous boss. So you're not working there still. That's come to an end. And you've said that's come to an end. But we left on very bad terms. I don't think there's to be anything to be gained by you contacting them, right? So the first thing you do is you don't give them as a reference, right? Usually you're expected to to provide some references. You do not give that boss or even like that, anyone at that company as a reference, right? And you can explain, you can say, well, unfortunately we left on very bad terms and they took my leaving very personally. And for that reason, I don't feel that they would have anything nice to say about me under the circumstances, which is very unfortunate. But it's for that reason that I am not going to give you them as a reference, right? But if you can find, say, 3 other people, maybe a previous employer, like before that job, that would be good, like a previous boss. Or maybe in your last job, the boss was a jerk, but maybe you had some coworkers that were good. You could talk to them first and say, like, would it be okay if I know I didn't leave on very good terms, I was fired or whatever, but if I put your name down as a reference, is that okay? And, if they say, let them say yes. And then would you be able to say some, nice things about me? Would that be okay too? And then let them say yes, right? So you can do it that way, right? But explaining to the interviewer and saying, well, I did not leave on good terms with them, unfortunately. I regret that had to be the case. So for that reason, I can't give you them as a reference. That's a very standard common thing. Okay, so I think if you say something like that, they would understand. Or the best thing to do is just not bring it up, right? It's only if they're like asking, like, do we have your permission to contact your previous employer? That's the only time you would mention this, and that's what you would say. Does that help? Babs, hopefully that helps.